one of the guys in my office, I was sitting in the real estate office, was a retired colonel. He didn't like anything casual. So out of respect, I did. Everywhere I went, coat and tie. You see me old pictures, coat and tie. And it was one hot summer, and I was talking to my friend Emmett down in Ocala, and he said, "Oh man, all I wear is khakis and a golf shirt." And I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to do that. And I changed, and I never went back. And I realized when I did that, though, I was more relaxed.
Sure.
My customers didn't feel as intimidated by coming into an office, and I'm sitting there dressed up, and they're in, a t-shirt and a pair of shorts, buying their first home or whatever the case may be. And there would be cases that I knew that, okay, I need to dress up for this particular person. This is a CEO of a big company and whatnot. Then I started realizing these guys are showing up in clothing as relaxed as I am. I'm the guy coming in overdressed.
Sure.
So I started realizing, hey, if I'm on the same level with them, I'm here to help you. I'm not here to look down on you or grade you based on your credit score. I'm not going to look at you different if you have an 800 or a 600. Everybody's situation's different.
Right.
And just treat them like people.
Yeah.
Let people know you care about them.
Right.
You're doing this because you love helping them. It's not, and don't get in this business for the money. I tell everybody, if you're getting in this business because somebody said you could make a lot of money, then don't get in it. Because if that's what you're going for, you're in it for the wrong reason. Get in it because you love helping people. You love to see, when someone cries at a closing and hugs me and tells me thank you, I never thought I'd own a home. That is better than any paycheck I'll ever get. And if you go that approach, your business will be blessed. And you will have business coming at you because people will go, he didn't do it for the money. I've done loans for free. I've done loans where I actually had to pay to close them. But I never looked back. I never regretted it. And those customers are still lifetime customers of mine.
When I was asking Johnny, I'm somebody who loves purpose in my life. I want to have, anything I do, I want to have a purpose that I can kind of attach to it. So when I asked Johnny about it, I said, where do I find that? Because our loan officer, I couldn't tell you his name. I don't remember him. And so I asked Johnny that question, how do I find my purpose? He said, you will find it in the people that you get to bless in helping them in homeownership. And I started thinking, all right, I'm in on that. I can get behind doing that. And then, when you do go to a closing and they're so excited and they thank me, which is crazy because I'm not giving them any of the money. But I get to be kind of the person who gets to hug somebody or shake a hand. And it gives you some really awesome stories of people. And then you get to check in on them later and say, hey, how's the house going? Have you set everything up yet? And you're just able to be this small piece in somebody's homeownership story for 30 years that they're going to have memories of their kids growing taller or backyard memories or whatever. And then in that is the memory of you being able to help make that happen. So it's definitely not for the money. And I've gotten that from all the best loan officers I know. I've gotten it from Becky. I've gotten it from Johnny, the people who've been in it forever. They always tell me the same thing. Be in it for those moments. Run after those moments. And it makes, if you're in a difficult market or a good market, it makes your goal the same. Your dartboard is the same all the time, which I think is a really cool thing to be a part of, that your dartboard won't change. When the market does, we've seen it go whatever, you're chasing the same thing. You're chasing, hopefully, blessing a family that might not have ever had a home, especially those first-time home buyers.
The market does like this, and there are some hard days, like really hard days sometimes. But when you have somebody who you run into them at the store, or they Facebook message you, and they just say, hey, I'm still in that house, you helped me get in. And it's like 10 years later.
That would be huge.
And that just reminds you, oh my gosh, like it makes you feel so good. It's like, oh, this is why I do what I do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's worth it.
It is a beautiful thing for sure.
I bought my first house in my 20s. And I remember the process to me was brutal because I never felt comfortable that am I approved or am I not? I had good credit. I had a good job. I had a down payment. But every time I turned around, my loan officer was calling me going, hey, I need you to bring me this. I need you to bring me this. And I was getting in the car and driving a good ways to take him a piece of paper, only to go back 2 days later and thinking, do I tell anybody I'm buying a house or do I not? And so when I got in the business, which was not maybe 3, 4, 5 years after that, I said, I don't want to be that guy. I want to make sure people understand what's going on, explain the process, tell them who's going to be involved, what an underwriter does, educate them where they're not nervous the whole time. And then the experience, and this is what they tell you at the end, this is nothing like I thought. Everybody told me this was going to be a nightmare. And it's not.
And it's a normal feeling. Because
Absolutely.
listen, I'm 50 and we bought a number of houses over the years, had to get a mortgage on every one of them. And to this day, if I have to apply for a loan, I still get anxious.
Yep.
What if they tell me no?
Yep.
What if something's going on with the credit? What if I don't make enough money? Like, what if I don't have enough savings?
Yeah.
I still get anxious.
Yep.
And we do this for a living.
Yeah.
So as somebody who's never bought a house before.
Oh, yeah, they are. And they've heard the horror stories. I got all the way to closing. They denied me at the last minute. They did. I said, that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. But the more time you spend up front and you create that relationship with them and they realize that you're not in it for the buck, you're in it to get them into that new home and that you truly care about them and their family and getting them there, it changes. They get comfortable. You know, program them into your phone. Have their name.
Yep.
Put notes in your phone.
Yep.
You know, so you remember these people when they call you 10 years later.
Yep.
You know, you go, oh yeah, this is the guy that so and so, and it, you know, and you could start a conversation. They're not a number. You know, when I got in this business, one of the hardest things, a lot of realtors, because they're on the property address side, everything is related to a property address. Hey, can you give me the update on 123 Smith Street? I don't know what 123 Smith Street is because all my customers are a person, not an address.
Yep.
Now, there's nothing wrong with the way a realtor does that because they have to because everything's in the system that way.
Sure.
But with me, it's only their name. You know, if they ask me about a property address, I'm going to go, can you give me a name to go with that? Because I know my name. I can tell you every loan that I have in process right now. I can tell you a little bit about them, what their situation is, and if they're a repeat customer. I've had one customer I did 7 loans in 6 different states. Every time they relocated, they would tell their realtor, I've got a loan officer, but I got a local guy. Don't matter. This guy's like part of my family.
Sure.
So those relationships are what you start the minute you talk to them.
Yep.
They're not just someone getting pre-approved. This is the biggest financial decision they'll ever make.
That's right.
And if you let them know you care, they remember you.
Yeah.
And they come back and back. And as long as I've been doing it, I laugh. I'm now doing the grown-up kids that used to sit in my office and play on the floor with their toys while their parents bought. Now they're coming to me because their parents go, well, you know who to go to.
Yep.
You are their lifelong lender, their family person, and they trust you.
Yep.
And you just can't beat that. And really, I should be retired as far as retirement
Did you try
goes.
to retire once?
I did.
How long did you retire for?
I retired for a year and a half.
Year and a half.
I thought I was burnt out.
What a
I was at
vacation.
the time. But after a year and a half, I missed it. I would still talk to realtors. My wife would come home and I'd be on the phone talking. She said, who was that? And I won't mention names, but that was one of my agents. Oh, what are y'all talking about? Well, I was just telling them how to do this, the right way. And they just wanted some input. Mm-hmm. She said, you miss this, don't you? I said, I do miss that. I do miss it. But I was, I needed a break. My dad had taken a bad fall. I got to spend a little time with him. Yeah. But after a year and a half, I couldn't wait to get back in.
Yeah.
And now people go, well, how much longer are you going to do this? I go, I guess as long as somebody will have me.
Yeah. At this
Maybe
point,
until I
You
start
can't go
forgetting
anywhere.
how to turn on the computer. I don't know.
Well, Casey and I need you, so you can't go
yeah,
anywhere.
I definitely do. You got to give me I've told my assistant the same thing. I'm like, hey, I need you to be here for a long time because I need that guidance. But I love your point on the first phone call, and I've tried to put a really big emphasis on the first phone call because I am newer. So my list of agents is not nearly as long as yours. Just agents that could even mention. There's no way it's as long. And so I try to make the first phone call really important. I try to hit on two things. One, I want to tell you the whole process. And sometimes they've only got 10 minutes and they're driving home from school. And I'm like, I know this is going to be a lot. We can discuss it again, but I want to give you the whole thing. I want to tell you what it will look like the entire time. And then two, I want to learn as much about why they want to be in this home as possible. Are they relocating for a school district? Are they just coming here for a job? Did they just start something new? Do our kids go to school together? Any sort of connection points that I can make that I can cherish along the way. And then I think you made a good point of just being this lifelong lender for them. Anytime people ask me what I actually do for a living, I always tell them my job is to fight on your behalf to get you in a home. I'm going to just do everything I can to stand on your side and then sit at the end of a closing table and do nothing and celebrate. I used to
call myself a buyer's advocate.
Yeah, that's what I am.
That's how I felt. I was just an advocate for you.
I'm one who
I want to tell your
fights and
story to the
celebrates.
underwriter.
Yep. Yeah. That's because, and that's a part that I think probably scares some home buyers is they think that it's just, what we could maybe look at on a paperwork, and maybe they have a story that they want to kind of tell how things got to where they are. And you can only get so many snapshots in a loan application or a credit score or whatever it is. But these stories are the ones that matter. That way you can, cherish these for a long time. I'd love to have the kids of the people one day too. I don't think you get in this business just to be in it for a short time. I think you want to build that sort of lifelong community staple where the people know that guy is trustworthy. He does a good job and he loved me well. And if I do that,
approach it from I'm in it to serve.
Yeah. It's a lifestyle. It's not a job. Mm-hmm. It truly is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You become a loan officer because you think you're getting into this career job, but you realize it's not a job.
Yeah.
Mine's not a job anymore.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a lot easier today than it was when I got in 36 years ago.
Sure.
I can work from anywhere. Before, you did everything face to face. You did everything with a calculator. I mean, people still laugh at me. We've got young. Well, you're
what
one
they
of
call
them.
The abacus.
No, we didn't have that. No, I started a little bit, a couple years after that.
2 years after the.
I have about a half a dozen HP 12C financial calculators. There's one on my desk right now. Mm-hmm. I have the app on my phone. Most people don't know how to operate that. But sure. I can take your payment. I can tell you what you would pay in interest over the next, if you say, how much am I going to owe in 5 years? I can calculate, tell you how much interest you paid and what your principal balance is. Yep. Most people don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I've got people that laugh at me when I pull that out because our systems are all set up to do that.
Sure.
But I've got it on my phone because I can still calculate that and I can tell people things that you can't, that system doesn't tell you unless you want to run an AM schedule or whatever the case may be.
Right.
So I learned on that because we did everything manually.
Yeah.
You wrote out what they call a good faith estimate, which they did away with that after the mortgage meltdown. Now we have the LEs and the CDs. The federal government made it more confusing than ever. But we wrote everything out and totaled it up and calculated everything. So you had to be good with numbers on top of being good with people. And you just had books. I mean, you had the manuals and you just studied these manuals and there was no, let me plug that online and pull up the answer. No.
Yeah, ChatGPT.
Go into this little, I literally had the books. So things have changed so much, but what's so great is, I'll have a realtor call me right now and go, hey, where are you at? The beach, the lake, the mountains, or your office?
Sure.
And it's like a joke because it doesn't matter where I'm at.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I can jump on and do whatever I do right there. And I'll still have people come in that want to meet. I mean, we just closed a retired veteran or a disabled retired veteran. that wanted to do everything face to face. So we met him every single time.
Yeah.
He would come in our office to e-sign a document.
Aw.
We did everything because that's what he needed.
Yeah.
And if that's what he's comfortable with, I'm fine with that. But
Yeah.
most people don't. They want the convenience of hitting a button and e-signing and doing
Sure,
whatnot.
sure.
But it's changed so much. But the real thing has never changed. Caring about these customers and letting them know it does mean something to you.
Yeah.
That never changes.
I think that's I think that's super cool that we've advanced a lot technologically, but at the end of the day, it's still what the customer desires.
Oh, yeah.
And just a willingness to do whatever that is. It is a cool job that you get to work remotely. I get to hang out with my children and work remotely. I get to work from my office, or if we're going to the beach or wherever, and those things are really great. But at the end of the day, you do whatever you need to do to make sure that, someone who probably has some of those anxieties and worries and fears is comfortable, whether that's a long phone call where you don't talk really anything about mortgages. They just needed to kind of talk about what's going on and the things they're nervous about with this big step in life, or face-to-face signing of documents or whatever it is. I think the job gives you the ability to be flexible all the time.
Yeah.
Not just in the fact that you get to work remote, but in each customer, it's so different. And I didn't believe that when you first told me that, when I first took the job.
It's your generation.
I was like, it can't be
Untrusting.
that different, can it? Every single client is unique. Not just in the fact that they are their own story, that part's understood, but every loan is unique, every process is unique for them. And I enjoy that part of it because it's not mundane. It's not the same thing every day. It's not just, let
Not
me
that
look.
40-hour week.
Yeah,
work week.
I'm not
In
just
this
looking at a
business,
number and
Yeah.
moving on.
You can work any 60 hours a week you want to.
Yep.
Exactly.
It doesn't, you don't have that clock to punch
Yep.
and working that hard 40 hours. Pick your 60 hours and do it however.
That is that's my
10
favorite
times
response.
6, so, you figure it out. It's easy.
I've had clients that go, hey, when is the last time that I can call you? And if I have a question tomorrow, I say, I'm going to work when you need me to work. So just give me a phone call. If I don't answer the phone because it's 2 a.m. and I'm asleep, then I'll try to get to it at 6 a.m. when I wake up. But don't feel like you have to hesitate on asking me a question. It's one of the beauties of technology. You can text me and I can get it at 6 a.m. I can get it and I can respond to it right there. And then you can get it if you wake up at 6:30. We don't have to have a meeting. We can, if you want one, we can. But it gives the ability to work whenever you need me to work. And it
Just
doesn't
don't
feel that
FaceTime me
way.
at 6 a.m. because you're going to catch
No,
me in
that's
the bed.
not. That's not what you want. I've answered plenty of emails. Whether you're sitting around the breakfast table or whatever, you can work on it, and I think it's a really cool piece of it. So,
One thing that buyers or even agents, when they would call, one of the first things they say is, I hate to bother you. I don't want to
yeah.
bother you again. I'm like, you are not bothering.
Right.
That is what I'm here for.
Exactly.
Call and ask the questions.
Yes.
And I'm going to call Johnny and ask him.
oh yeah, I have given that response a few times of I think I know, but let me just be sure. And then I'll call Johnny and yep, that was right. Or I would do it this way. And then it gives me the ability to serve my client well. If you ask me what my favorite thing about New American Funding is one, the amount of effort we put into caring for customers. I think that's number one. Number two is the team that we have at the branch. I love because I can go to anybody and ask the questions to experienced loan officers, people who are in different stages of life, people who are just a little bit ahead of me in experience here, and everybody. There is a team atmosphere in an industry that feels like maybe it's not meant to be. It's in sales ultimately, so you feel like it would go like this, and it doesn't here. It's my
like a big
favorite
family.
thing about it.
It's a big family.
My favorite
Yeah.
thing about it.
Well, if you don't work together today, you might work together again down the road. Like you just don't burn bridges.
Yeah.
You treat each
Yeah.
other with respect.
Yeah.
You help each other.
Yep.
What's the saying about the rising water and all boats rise together?
yeah.
What
What
is
is
that?
that
Zig
saying?
Ziglar thing?
Rising waters raise all boats.
raise all boats.
Yeah.
I mean, you just,
And,
everybody
and,
succeeds.
and being in an office with people with everywhere from 40 years experience down
Yeah.
to rookies. I always tell everybody getting in this business, never try to wing it when an agent hits you with a question you don't.
Yeah.
Just look at them and go, you know what? I don't want to tell you the wrong thing.
Yep.
I'm not sure. Let me grab and you pick up the phone and you're going to get somebody.
Yep.
Somebody's going to take your call.
Yep.
You might miss me. You might not get Becky. You're going to get Teresa. You're going to get whoever. And you get them an answer right then. And they would much rather have that.
Correct.
Than someone just throwing an answer out and finding an answer. And they look at that and go, hey, this guy doesn't have such a big ego.
Yeah.
He said, oh, not sure. Let me double check. I tell people that all the time. I've been doing this for 36 years. And I go, you know what? I think I know the answer to that. But because so many things change all the time, let me double check before I tell you, and I'll get back to you. Because it's a constant moving.
Yeah. Guidelines
change all the time. I read over them, but it may not stick until you.
Correct.
So
those are the little things in a guideline changing where you do get asked a question and you're 99% sure that you just read it in an email 20 minutes ago. But I think there's something to be said, and I think you're right. Just the ability to say, hey, I'm going to exercise humility in this. It's not going to take that long because I know the people I'm going to call are going to answer pretty quickly. Give me 10 minutes. Can I call you back in 10 minutes? And I've yet to have a client say, I really needed it right this second. I haven't had that. Everybody's like, yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I call them back in 10 minutes, say, hey, I got the right answer. I called Miss Becky, or I called Johnny, and called whoever, and I got this answer for you, and it just keeps rolling.
I have some questions that future home buyers have asked.
Okay.
That I'm going to throw out at you guys. Because, we're doing this podcast. I guess we're calling it a podcast, the Huddle.
Okay.
It's where we huddle up and we just talk through stuff together, have conversations. Because we all love sitting around drinking coffee and talking war stories. But I have some questions. So I'm going to throw these out there. I hear this a lot. And actually I see a lot of people doing Instagram Reels. And they always talk about how buyers, when they're running numbers like scenarios, if you're an investor or you're wanting to buy a home, and they'll have like the sales price and the down payment, and they'll use a 20% down payment. So one of the questions is, do I really need 20% to buy a house? Do I need to put down 20%?
No.
Goodness, no.
But that is, a lot of people still think that. It's an old wives' tale. Yep. There was probably a time way, way back, even before I got in the business, that was required. But the sale prices of the homes were a whole lot smaller. So, you needed $4,000 and you had 20% on that little house. But, and now it's so different. And that's why back when I got in the business, we had a rate sheet. It came out, it had FHA, conventional, and you had these numbers. And that was your rates. If you were a broker, you had rates for whoever your correspondents were. It was at nothing. If someone calls you and says, what's your rate today? There's not a rate today.
Yeah.
Even what they're put online and all that stuff, is so misleading because it's based on the type of loan, the down payment, the LTV, their credit score, the combination of all of those. You get into a conventional loan, you get into MI. They go above a 45 DTI.
But explain what MI is.
Private mortgage insurance, because you put less than that. But there's anywhere from 100% financing. There's down payment assistance programs to help you with those. Mm-hmm. There's a USDA loan that is 100% loan. VA, 100% VA loan. They have a funding fee unless they have a disability. Then there's no funding fee. There are so many different types of loans now that it's not cookie cutter that, here you go, which one do you want?
Yep.
And I have people all the time, and you just don't look at that and go, oh, well, I know going into this, you're going to be best for this particular loan.
Yep.
I think someone's going to be a good conventional person, but because they haven't sold their house or whatever, their DTI's a little over the conventional, so we go with an FHA because of their situation where normally they might have been a conventional.
Yep.
But yeah, you're looking anywhere from zero down to whatever amount you want to put down.
All of it, right?
But there is no 20% requirement. That is an old wives' tale that is still out there.
It drives me crazy when I see those examples. I'm like, why are you running numbers always with 20%?
I've had recent clients ask me that type of question. How much do I need to put down? And I always tell them, hey, first of all, let's get some input. Let's get the loan application in. That's the first piece of our puzzle. And then we can figure out what program fits you best. And that could dictate how much you want to put down. Are you a veteran? Whatever it is. I said, there are so many programs, which is one of the beauties of the market today is there's so many programs, like Johnny mentioned, the DPA programs that, you don't have to bring anything towards that. And I think it's a huge benefit, but no, you do not need 20%, thankfully.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. So how do I compare lenders? Are all rates and fees the same?
Comparing lenders is probably one of the hardest things because a lot of people want to just go in and ask, what's your rate? And that's where they want to stop. I've got competitors out there, and I won't mention names, but from a pricing standpoint, they're hard to ever touch. But most agents, when they see an approval letter from these people, they're like, I've got multiple offers. I'm going to have to not put much weight on this one because they're not going to close in time. We can take a loan and close in 10 days or whatever you need. We will bend over backwards. They have dead set rules. So you're not always getting what you need when you're looking at just the price.
Sure.
You have a broker. He might outprice you on the front end, but on the back end, it's going to cost you more. Because you go to refinance with him, the loan's been sold 3 times. You pay a lot of extra costs on a refi that you don't pay with me because we're still servicing your loan. Right. And there is nothing worse than getting with a lender and your loan gets sold to someone that has one of the worst servicing department. We've won J.D. Power's Servicer of the Year. And when you do that, that's huge because a mortgage, your payment changes because your taxes and insurance change constantly. Having someone that can help you understand that, opposed to someone just saying, that's your new payment, is huge.
Yeah.
And so you get a lot of pieces that you got to look at what's most important to me. Do I want to save $10 a month and not close on time and pay more when I refinance? Or do I want to pay a few extra dollars now and then get the service, get the reduction in cost when I go to refinance, and have that person I can always go to?
Yep.
I mean, I have people call me on the weekend with a customer service question that I can answer when all other customer services are closed until Monday.
Sure.
And it might be bothering them. They got this thing in on Friday night, and it's like, you don't get that. You go to a broker, call that guy, your loan was sold to so-and-so, you'll need to call them.
Yeah.
So, we're a lifelong lender. We're not just get you a loan and see you later.
Yep.
Well, that leads to the next question. Who will I end up making my payment to? I've heard that the lender will sell my loan.
And that is the case most of the time.
Yep.
A lot of lenders sell all their servicing. A lot of them sell a percentage of their servicing. But to my knowledge, other than certain loans, certain DPA loans and whatnot are not serviced by NAF. But we tell you that up front, but certain loans are not. We have a list of brokers that we can do what we call the non-QM, which are not your normal conventional FHA type loans. We have a platform for you because you don't fit this particular. But the rest of them, we're servicing. I mean, I've been with NAF, will be 9 years, November 1.
Yeah, 9 years.
So all of my customers are still serviced that I know of. I've done a ton of refinances, and a lot of them just call, because we do anniversary cards and whatnot, and I still correspond with them on a regular basis.
Sure.
So I don't know of any loans that have been sold that have been my customers, unless it was one of those programs going into it.
Right.
So.
And you knew up front.
And I knew up front, and I told them that up front.
Yeah, that gets
Now, I do tell everyone, and this is the case no matter where you go, there's always an exception to the rule. Lenders reserve the right to sell. So there's always that chance, but that's a small chance.
Sure.
And it doesn't happen that often. But I always do that. That is always a possibility.
That is such a benefit when you get your first mortgage payment, and then next thing you know, it's coming from somebody else, and any question you have, you just feel kind of left alone, like you were shipped off, and you don't really know who to call. I've had phone calls from clients just asking simple customer service questions about, hey, how do I help set up my automatic withdrawal in 2 months when my first payment's due, or whatever it is. And if I don't know the answer, it's the same strategy. Hey, let me go figure this out for you. Let me send an email and I'll call you back in 10 minutes. And that ability is huge. That peace of mind for our clients that more than likely we're going to service your loan for the life of your loan. It matters. And it also gives us I think a reason to do a really good job, because we're going to have that loan for a long time. We need to make sure we've cared in a way that they want that partnership to exist for 30 years or however long that is.
Well, and part of that too, so a lot of the mortgage companies that I have worked for in the past, so I worked for a mortgage company where we were not a servicer. So we were a correspondent lender. Basically, we had other mortgage companies that we knew we were going to sell the loan to, right? So we had to go off their guidelines.
Yep.
And then I worked for a bank where, we were going to service our own, but you're a bank, so it's a little bit more conservative. And then worked for, other companies. And then with New American Funding, I think this is the first mortgage company I've worked for where we serviced our own loans.
Right.
Which meant we weren't using other guidelines. We actually used Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, VA guidelines. So we didn't have overlays.
Exactly.
And overlays basically just means additional guidelines that someone else has put in place.
Exactly.
They don't want to take the loan.
Well, and they do that a lot of times because they are going to sell the servicing. And if they sell the servicing, they have a buyback over a certain window of time, that if something defaults on that loan or they make a late payment or whatever, they may have to buy it back. So they add additional layers. So a loan that we can do, that lender won't do because, there's a 20% chance they might have a late payment in the next 6 months.
Sure.
So we're not going to touch it. So we don't have that. We go straight to Fannie guidelines, FHA guidelines. Here it is. And
we do manual underwriting.
Yeah, and we still do manual. If we don't get an automated approval, we do manual.
Yeah, it eliminates a lot of that anxiety of, hey, just let's go with the upfront underwrite. I'll let you know. I'll let you know soon. As soon as it's back, you will know. And then they can have that anxiety kind of wiped away of like, hey, you're
peace of mind.
You're good.
Yeah.
You're
Which
good.
leads
We've
me
already
to this
sent it in.
next question. So what does pre-approved actually mean? Is it the same as being approved?
Pre-approved
pre-qualified?
is a very loosely worded pre-qualification, pre-approval, really gets back to the person you're working with. Someone will say, I pre-approved them, and go, great. So they've got the money in the bank. Well, they told me they did. Okay, so you haven't seen a bank statement. And you're sure that, they do have to keep their overtime up. I said, so are you using overtime? Well, they told me. When you get these, that's not a true pre-approval or approval. You haven't looked. Like sometimes there's so many moving pieces. I get people that have bonus income. They have overtime income. Well, they can send you a W-2, but guess what? A W-2 doesn't break out bonus or overtime income.
Right.
So I have to get either one or two things. Your end of year pay stub, if you can access that. If not, I need to order VOE, a verification of employment, which we will do on a loan that's not even in process, which most people don't. This is time consuming, but I need to get this so I can average it and see what I can use.
Right.
So there's a lot of cases that people just shortcut and say, oh yeah, you're good to go. I've done this a long, long time. I know every time I put my name on an approval letter, it means something.
Right.
And because I've been in the same area for so long, my agents will win offers because they'll go. I had one of my agents call me this weekend and said, hey, I got an offer on one of my listings and the approval letter came from you. So we've got multiple offers, but I'm going to recommend going with yours because these other letters don't mean what you mean. Are you still anything that I need to be concerned with? I said, no, the letter says it all. It's a done deal.
Yep.
I thought so. Just wanted to hear that from you. So that means something.
So let me ask you a question though, because when you're newer to the business and you get an agent who calls you, you feel pressure. Like you got to get that letter to them quickly because you're afraid they're going to call another lender. Yeah. So you have to have the conversation with the agent too on why you might need to take just a pause to get a little bit more information. So that when you do write that letter, it means something because it's better than risking it blowing up in their face.
Especially when my reputation isn't
they're not
as
going to call you anyway.
They're not going to call me back.
Right. I will give you a letter, but I want you to understand I'm missing these couple of pieces. So going into this, because there's a multiple offer situation, I do need something else. But if I wait for them to get back in town, you lose the offer. Right. So I'm gonna be flexible when I need to be, but I'm also going to be very clear.
Yeah.
I'm going to be very transparent, and they're going to understand that we're doing this, but I really need this. You told me this, but I haven't seen it with my own eyes.
But it comes back to communication.
So if it comes back different, you understand what we're talking about here. So there are cases that you've got to move quick.
Sure.
So with your real estate, your partners, your referral partners, you got to communicate with them just
Absolutely.
like you do your buyers, just to take that anxiety stress. Because there's so many agents I've gotten in the business in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And real estate agent, when they take their test, they didn't study financing. They didn't study loans. And
sure.
I mean, there's a little bit that they go over maybe on how to calculate debt to income, or maybe how, certain rates work and stuff, but they don't know what goes into getting approved for all.
Absolutely. And when COVID hit and rates went into the twos, everybody was trying to get in the business because it was so easy. You would put a house on the market. If you had a friend trying to sell a house and you could put it on the market, you could get a dozen offers. And this went on. I mean, I had people approved for well over a year that got outbid, offering way above selling price and still getting outbid. I mean, some of the stories were just unbelievable. But this went on and went on and went on and went on. So a lot of people jumped in the mortgage business. They didn't have to learn the mortgage business because everybody had so much business. They could still get loans. You could still sell houses. I mean, I had realtors that didn't have to understand the whole, all the complexity of the business, because I list a house, I get 10 offers. I list a house. Now those realtors, some of those are going, oh, this house has been on the market for 30 days. I went, that's nothing. Houses were on the market for months prior to that. This is not a part-time job. And it's not a part-time job for realtors, because you're needed all hours of the day. You can't wait till you get off your normal job. But a lot of those are gone now. A lot of those guys don't make it when things get back. And we're in more of a normal market. Some people said it's bad, it's slow. It's more normal to me than those rates that were too. I mean, I literally had a list of people that want to refinance, and I would put them on the list and go, I'll call you back, but I got this many people in front of you, but I will get to you, or whatever.
Well, it's funny. You think about the rates, like it was a crazy market, but I've been in the business not as long as you, but a couple decades. But every house I bought since the 90s, my rate was over 7%.
Yeah.
Between 7 and 8, every one of them. Yeah. This is the first house I've had that my rate was actually below 5%.
And it's hard to explain to someone that a rate in the 6s is great. When I got in the business, the rates were around 11.5. So my first house, I did a 15-year mortgage at 10 3/4.
Ooh, but the house was $30,000, right?
Well, no, it was $76,000. It was 76, but I was in my 20s, so we won't go back to whatever year that was.
It is funny. My first house, we bought a townhouse, and I was in real estate then before mortgages, and it was $62,000. Our payment was like $400 and something a month.
Yeah.
And I thought, we are never going to have a mortgage over $1,000 a month, ever.
Yeah. What a dream that would be.
What a dream that was.
What a dream.
Those days are gone.
That is not us.
Yeah.
People say, is this a good time to buy? Even my son-in-law was asking me, I don't know. I think there's going to be some correction. I think if we keep waiting. I said, well, it's always a good time to buy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because even if the prices seem a little high and the rates are a little bit higher, as soon as the rates start coming down, and you think, I'm going to get some relief, that same house has now gone up 30, 40,000 in price.
Yes.
So yes, you got a better rate, but you're now paying more for the same house.
Correct.
So you didn't really win.
And you can refinance.
And you always can refinance. They have tons of equity. So it's always a good time to buy.
Yeah.
Because even if the house prices are higher, guess what? Rental prices are higher too.
Yes.
And rent is crazy now.
But
when you move out of that rental, you give them the keys, they take your security deposit because they need to change the carpet or paint or whatever, and you get nothing.
Yeah, you gain no equity.
Nothing.
For that. I think that's the biggest thing for like people in my generation that are buying maybe their first home, maybe their second home, they're kind of upgrading. And they have those same questions of, is it a good time to buy or should I wait for some sort of correction or whatever it is? And I always tell them equity is never going to be a bad thing. So if you can get in and instead of renting where you're paying somebody else's 100% equity, they get all of it, you can pay towards your own. You're building your own wealth that every person in my generation is mad that their parents got in way before them and now they have so much equity on their home. Your job is to make sure that your kids are mad at you for doing the same thing. You want them to go, oh man, mom and dad got this home for this price and now the equity's so good and they've done such a great job. That your opportunity is now. And it only happens by buying. Right. It doesn't happen by waiting. You might get lucky and it might be better, but you're not going to fail when you have this safe plan of being able to refinance your home. My brother just bought a home and we closed it last month and I had the same conversation with him. It's not a bad time to buy. It's a good time to buy.
Oh, yeah.
It's always a good time to build wealth that will hopefully bless your children one day.
Absolutely.
It's always a good thing.
This was great, you guys. Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome to the Huddle. You need like your own intro
welcome to
each
the
time.
Huddle. I know. I need like
your
the
own
whole intro.
a tagline of the Huddle. We'll have to figure it out.
The
Let's
Huddle.
think about that. I like the name. I think the name's great.
I know. And I don't even watch football.
Well, other people huddle, I guess.